чужим діткам дулі-дулі.
Now, look, no one's listening to this, man. Tell me straight up, man. How was your experience working with Stellar? You know, just between me and you and a couple thousand people listening in. You know, because you said earlier that Stellar, from what you saw and read, they seem to really be embracing Africa. I think it's important to get this perspective because, you know, especially in the blockchain world, a lot of things don't turn out to be what you think they are. You've been around for a long time. Oh, we gonna get started real early, guys. I want you to listen. Listen what Lottie over at Cowrie Exchange, someone that's been on the ground level in Nigeria, is about to say. You've met with pretty much everybody up and down the chain. Can you share what your personal experience has been working with SDF?
Oh, it's been fantastic, Sam. They actually know this technology will have the most impact in places like Africa. And for instance, the West can get by without blockchain for now. Yeah, it's better it adds to them, but the impact it will have on our society here is immense. It's actually immense. We appreciated that they saw that, and they saw it early on, not when it was fashionable, not
when it was fashionable.
You understand? We saw it when it wasn't fashionable, when it was hard to come into Africa. They saw it. And
hey, wait, hold up. Pause on that, man. I thought that myself. You know what? Let me say something here. Let me address something real early in this show. This is not addressing anybody in particular, let me be clear. But there's a lot of fronting going on in blockchain. There is a lot of what they call capping. Stellar has been there for a long time, okay? Let's talk about it. February 2015, Stellar was working on solutions with Vumi, an open source platform run by the Perkelt Foundation in South Africa. These are facts. A foundation that spearheaded a number of projects leveraging mobile communications to improve their everyday lives, among them promotion of HIV/AIDS awareness, promotion of youth literacy. This is something that is not new. Let's keep talking. April 2015, the The SDF released an upgraded protocol with a new consensus algorithm, which went live November 2015. The new algorithm was used, called the SCP, a cryptocurrency protocol created, not cloned, created by Stanford professor David Mazaris. Let's not call it a clone. These are facts. Jed McCaleb, shout out to Jed. He spent a month in Lagos in 2016 and came out with detailed plans to dedicate the remaining year to anchor participations in Nigeria. In 2016, Stellar was working with Flutterwave, connecting M-Pesa, Kenya, a groundbreaking mobile phone financial service provider. What I'm saying is that they've been working there for a long time.
You know, it is really cool now to come to Africa. But I posted a couple of times, you know, they've been there since the ground level. Continue.
No, you're correct. Yeah, they were there from the beginning. And they were there when it was very hard. Very, very, very hard. They were there. They never gave up. And they had an interest in people that were trying to develop on the network and really try to support and hold hands. I'll give you an example. For us, we were building on the network. All well and good. We were just doing our thing. But as we were building, trying to get our services up, and SDF themselves actually reached out to us. They see what we are doing. They like what we're doing. And is there any way they can support us? We're like, oh, definitely.
And Stellar was, I was one of the first guys that started contacting them, and I was really privileged to get the opportunity to talk to Jed in those early days. I had a Skype call with him, and it was really a game changer for me, and I've got so much respect for that guy. His vision for Africa, his vision of actually creating a real payment solution, and people that, many people talk to me about, why the XLM is not being pushed and that. I remember that conversation with Jed. Jed was not trying to push a token. Jed was trying to solve a problem.
Say that one. Hey, hold up. Listen to what Andre ClickWorld, shout out to ClickWorld, is about to say. Jed didn't go over there to push a token. He was there to create solutions. I'm talking about 6-7 years ago. Let's go. Time.
Let me repeat that.
Is, once again, repeat that again, because that's important.
Jed, and I'm saying Jed, I mean Jed and his team, Bartek, and there's a lot of people in the early days that really helped us. Those guys
shout out to
were
them.
Building a solution. The token was a by the by. They didn't build something to hype a token. They were trying to create a real solution. And with my background, which you now know, it was just, to me, that was just absolutely the beginning. So I think it was 2014, we then signed up with them. And in those early days, I mean, there was very little tools and we had to build everything. But this is now 5-6 years later, there is no other solution.
And here we are with another initiative that the SDF is doing out in Africa. We are here to discuss this. This is a new initiative with DFS Labs. In collaboration with the Stellar Development Foundation, has launched a call for applicants for a blockchain bootcamp designed to give early to mid-stage startups in Africa an opportunity to build on Stellar, an open source blockchain network for financial inclusion. Here to discuss is Stephen Deng. Stephen Deng, welcome to the show.
How's it going? That was an awesome intro.
Hey, I try to do my thing every once in a while. Let me give everybody just a good quick introduction of exactly who this man is. So Stephen is co-founder and partner at DFS Lab, leading its investments in early stage digital commerce startups in Africa. He has also spent time advising global clients on the growth of fintech e-commerce in frontier markets such as those in Africa, China, and Indonesia. Previously, he worked on emerging technology strategy at the Gates Foundation and served as a tech consultant in Silicon Valley, specializing in telecom, consumer tech industries. Stephen earned his MBA and BA in economics, both from the University of California and Berkeley. Man, that is pretty damn impressive, I must say.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, look, let's start off. I want to talk a little bit about your background. Whenever I see tech, business, and studies in economics, I get a little excited. Give us a little background on how you first got together with the folks that you founded DFS Labs with.
Yeah, no, it's all those things are always connected, right? So I started my career in the Valley, like I mentioned, really focused on telecom. And I'll date myself, but this is when smartphones were really picking up. So during that period of time, if you remember, early Android, early iOS, a lot of cool stuff happening then. But I think like a lot of folks, you eventually get the bug to do a bit more with the global community, do a bit more on the impact side. So after business school, I ended up at the Gates Foundation, working a lot with the fintech portfolio there. And, at the time, and I'm sure we'll get into this, a lot of the fintech work was related to telecom. You mentioned M-Pesa in that intro. I mean, that's a huge deployment. It's a huge innovation in the world, historically, I would say. And so a lot of work there. And then we ended up spinning out DFS Lab because, so much of the really cool stuff was being done by founders, by technology entrepreneurs on the continent, really just grit and grinding every day to get new innovations out there, meeting what I call opportunity and reality, and really getting some of these things traction. And so we spun out DFS Lab from that experience, me and a partner who worked with me at the Gates Foundation as well. And we've been doing that since kind of the 2017 time period, really investing in early stage founders like the ones, amazing folks you have on the screen, and working with a lot of the folks that have been great mentors as well. And that's the history there, but it's always all connected.
So while I got this up, I got to ask you a question. What does DFS Lab means? What does DFS mean?
Yeah, it's funny. Not a lot of people ask us that question. It's kind of a boring. It means digital financial services, so pretty straightforward. But I think it's one of those things now where it actually mean more than that these days, right? We work a lot in commerce, for example. We work a lot in logistics. We work a lot in right now. We're working with blockchain, right? So it's going beyond just digital financial services in general. But the history of that is we started in fintech, and we'll always have that as a starting point.
Awesome. So what's I guess what is your main responsibility and focus at DFS Labs?
Yeah, I mean, as a partner, my main goal is to run our investment portfolio. So my day-to-day, I love my day-to-day, but it's, we talk with a bunch of companies. We get thousands of applicants for us to invest in on a kind of a yearly basis. And we go through them. We talk to the folks that really align with our thesis and with our values, frankly. And my job is to make sure that the founders are able to execute, that the ideas are realistic, but also, pushing the envelope enough that there's potential. And then we do a lot of work supporting them on a day-to-day basis. And so I'm not leading the support. Someone else on my team is, who I'm sure we'll bring up later. But my job is to make sure that these opportunities make a lot of sense, and for us to create the right relationships with founders. And these are long journeys that we go on, right? When you talk about venture capital, these are 5 to 10 year journeys. So you better make sure you at least like the person before you engage with them in that way.
Right. No, that's great. I mean, I'm curious to know from your vantage point, how have you seen, I guess, the evolution of blockchain? I mean, you dated back to, telecom, right? And so how have you seen it go from that and the 2016s of blockchain through the craze till now? How has the landscape evolved?
Yeah, I mean, I'll say this. I think in that earlier period, a lot of focus was on Bitcoin specifically and less on blockchain technology, right? And you still see some of that where the store of value of Bitcoin continues to be important. But now I think much more people are building on things like the Stellar blockchain, and having more opportunities to just interact with the code base has really opened up, especially on the more technical founder side, folks that have much more realistic use cases. Like, you mentioned a lot of that conversation in that intro was about use case, and I truly align and believe with that. So I'll say, in that 2016 to say 2018 period, you were getting a lot of pitch decks from founders that were trying to kind of force fit blockchain into solutions that might not, really benefit from them. I don't know if you remember, there was this tea company that put blockchain in their name, and then their value jumped tremendously during the craze. So there was some of that going on where you knew that they were trying to force fit this because it was kind of flavor of the year type of thing. But now we're seeing much more meaty, much more realistic uses where founders are much better able to describe why using blockchain or why using something like a stable coin versus just going over fiat rails is a huge advantage for them. It's not just a nice to have as a term on their pitch deck. It's actually a core part of why that business will work. And I think that's the evolution that we've been really excited about and that we've been tracking over the last few years.
You know what? That is a breath of fresh air to hear, because no, it's seriously, because sometimes when you turn on Twitter and you see all these meme coins dominating, and you see all these seemingly smart people talking about things that have zero use case, you wonder, is there really people out there that are focused on the utility value that's happening in blockchain? So that is very, very encouraging to hear. It really is. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
And let me ask you this. There's been a lot with regulatory hurdles that have popped up recently. How have you seen that impact even some of the pitches and the decks that have come your way?
Yeah. So, Africa's 54 countries, a lot of different regulatory approaches towards crypto and blockchain, a lot of different reactions from central banks and things like that. I would say, I'll give you an example. So in Nigeria, there's a few really strong, high traction crypto companies. The central bank there a few months ago decided that you cannot fund your crypto wallets through the banks. And and it really overnight was a huge shock to a lot of these companies that had built their businesses over years. And you can kind of see it from both sides, where the Nigerian government wants more control over their fiat, right, and the exchange rates there. But at the same time, these businesses were doing a lot of good. They were lowering the cost of cross-border transactions. They were allowing a lot more use cases to happen instantly and seamlessly. But I would say African founders and those building on that continent, they know how to get things done. And so almost overnight, you were seeing people switch from, funding wallets with the bank accounts that were then banned to P2P. So in Nigeria now, what you're seeing is you see a huge pickup in P2P crypto. And that's a direct reaction to the regulations that went down. But then on the positive side, you see a lot of other governments, even in Nigeria now, I think there's a different mentality towards being more proactive and working with that tech community because they've been engaging more closely post this event. In Kenya, they're thinking about a national cryptocurrency and what that might look like. And so a lot of things are moving quite quickly. And if you're a founder or you're someone building for this space, you just got to have your finger on the pulse and to have that flexibility and adaptability, right, to really roll with the punches.
Wow. So the role of stablecoin is definitely evolving, you would say, huh? Because you got this dynamic of stablecoin and CBDCs. Is there a world where they both coexist?
Yeah, look, the utility, going back to utility value, right? Where I think a lot of builders that have mostly focused on US and Europe don't understand is just how much volatility can happen with currencies within Africa and how much value there is in something. It takes the word stablecoin to a whole different level, right? It's really about that predictability. A lot of people want to hold US dollars in some way in order to hedge against that risk on inflation, right? These are double-digit inflation economies, right? Your money loses value real quickly. You also see a lot of fluctuation. And so that ability to both get the benefits of blockchain, but also incorporate a piece of US currency or European currency, I think that's hugely beneficial. Is there a world where local currency that eventually gets tokenized and USDC eventually? I think, the same way that international Forex has evolved to incorporate many currencies to just balance out balance out those markets. I think that'll happen in that tokenized market as well. But you still want that, that benefit of having the blockchain and that utility there, right? While being able to enjoy all the other benefits of something like USDC.
Absolutely. That's something that really was an eye opener, doing these podcasts and talking to these builders. I had a chance to speak with the team behind Uhuru Wallet, which is building out in Africa using Stellar. And it was surprising, to think, like, for instance, here in the States, right? If you're in, New York and you cross over to a state line, it's not a big deal. Your U.S. dollars work the same in New York as they do in Atlanta. But he was explaining to me how you have to go from one currency to the U.S. dollar to another currency, and there's costs in between all of that. So
Yeah.
it really is a huge deal. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's huge, and it's not just a huge deal because it's inconvenient. It actually makes a lot of the other things that people are trying to build really difficult, right? So the one thing about Africa that people I think overlook is that even though as an aggregate, it's a huge population, it's growing very fast, GDP is rising. If you look at each individual country, they're still pretty compartmentalized, maybe outside of kind of a West African bloc. You have a lot of work that you need to do if you're a company that wants to grow to service many countries and much earlier than a US or European company would have to in the beginning. So, you might have raised a little bit of money, but you're dealing with multiple geographies, multiple currencies, multiple regulations really early, right? And so anything that helps make that easier is huge value add for a founder in Africa.
Wow. Well, great points, man. Great points. So, once again, it's how do we make it easier for SMEs, small businesses to grow,
Absolutely.
And this I guess is a good segue into what you guys are doing with your collaboration with the SDF. Let's take a look at it here. You guys have actually have a boot camp. You launched DFS Labs and Stellar Development Foundation launched a Blockchain Bootcamp. The bootcamp is a 3-day design sprint, and allowing participants to answer critical business questions with hands-on technical support and guidance from DFS Lab and SDF. Companies will define a problem, storyboard a solution, develop a rapid prototype of their innovation. This is an exciting opportunity to support the blockchain-oriented ideas of African developers and startups. Equip them with practical tools, education, and provide support for what I like to read right here, to create viable solutions that fit local needs. So how did this collaboration come together?
So we've known of SDF and kind of the work they've been doing in Africa for quite some time, right? Like you said, they're one of the OGs of the space, and they really are putting in not just the time and staff time, but the resources, right? Like really putting money where their mouth is.
Right.
And I think that's really important to us. And so we've come together with them because we think that there are multiple pieces to make this work. One is that we want that benefit of working with SDF directly and kind of the engineering talent, that the history and experience that they have of working with the Stellar blockchain. But this local solutions piece is critical, right? So we've seen thousands and thousands of approaches trying to service both consumers and small businesses in Africa. And there are a few that just don't work, and there are a few that are kind of working, and there are a few that we think will work really well. And blockchain has a role to play in this story. And so we think connecting, local founders with SDF, with other mentors that kind of been through it, and with our own experience supporting these companies, like that's the right mixture to get some real amazing approaches to come out of this type of bootcamp. And the bootcamp is just the beginning, right? There is a nice little prize pool that comes with it, but beyond that, there's investment potential. SDF will be looking at these companies much more closely, and there's potential support longer term there. So we think of this as a beginning to a much longer journey, and we're super excited.
And it's exciting to me as well, because I think that it's so much in this space is a speculation of crypto, right? Mm-hmm. Hold the token and sit down and wait around. But this is truly an exciting time to be alive. We have we're at the event horizon, so to speak, of a whole new industry. And you know, a lot of people that are listening to the show, listen to it later, you know, they are in the 1% that even understand, that even smart enough to know that this is going on, right?
Yeah.
So why not get involved? And you know, if you're not a dev yourself, partner with a dev. Maybe you have, you know, combine your skills in some way or some form. I just think that what you guys are doing is just incredible, just incredible. So what can people expect at this boot camp?
Yeah, so you know, you mentioned a lot about the support. I guess I'll start there, where we'll provide end-to-end support to you, right? Both from the SDF folks and the Stellar folks, as well as from our side, DFS Lab. We'll have different mentors there. It's a 3-day virtual boot camp on Discord. So we've adapted kind of what we usually do in person on the Discord, and it actually works awesome. It's super fun. What we'll be doing is very product focused, and so we'll be focusing on how you will attempt to first build out your product and how you attempt to onboard and attract users. Because without that initial ability to get people interested into the value proposition and how you're actually going to get people onto your platforms and your products, none of this really matters. And so there's a huge focus on that. But you'll see, like, it's in the weeds. Like, we're going to work with you on everything from the business model down to the different button colors that you care about on your app.
Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, we'll have a lot of eyes on it.
No, that's great. This is a huge opportunity. I really hope you guys share this, let people know of this incredible opportunity to actually sit down with, like you said, not just the SDF and getting your project to their attention, but the folks at DFS Lab. You know, there's always an opportunity, even if, you know, on this particular project or camp, you don't get awarded a prize, let's say, or the majority of the prize. There is still an opportunity to, you know, create relationships, because so much of business is all about relationships. It's the ability for Steven, you know, 2 years down the road to say, hey, you know what, Sam, I remember you down there. That was a really cool project. You took my feedback constructively. You went back out, and now I got a couple people that I want you to speak with, because, you know, the product is ready. I know that this is a really exciting, you know, program. There's award prizes from $5,000 to $20,000, and of course it's in USDC. Why not use it? And so, you know, they mentioned here there'll be opportunities for follow-on funding for additional grants, including potential investments from the SDF's Enterprise Fund. Which, if you're not familiar with the Enterprise Fund, it's really a great opportunity. It's a venture-style fund for growing the open-source Stellar network, and they make direct investments at seed to Series B, including strategic bridge rounds, or make acquisitions in global fintech or blockchain companies. And so this is a great opportunity to get consideration for that. And other investors who will also be present at the demo on demo day. So what are some key dates for people to look out for?
Yeah, so the application is open now at dfslab.net/stellar, and it's open till August 20th. The bootcamp itself, like I said, it was 3 days. It'll be September 28th to the 30th in our Discord server.
Oh, wow. And I see here, cool, is that there's viable use cases. So be creative. They're going to explore cross-border payments, access to financial services, but then also compliance, NFTs, gaming, charity donations, liquidity. That word's been coming up a lot lately. Trade finance. So, yeah, I mean, if you got an idea, please come out here and share that, because you know, it's going to be a great opportunity. And I know also as well that this is not the only thing you guys have going on. There is fintech in Africa, and it's going to be a great panel. I see a lot of familiar faces. I see Wizard with Chipper Cash, Tori. Shout out to Tori with Leaf Global Fintech. I actually had a chat with her yesterday. We have Rick with ClickPesa, and looks like you got Joseph Benson at DFS Labs. Tell us a little bit about Joseph while I got you here.
Yeah, I know him as Joey, but you know, Joey's awesome. He leads our entrepreneur support. You know, he's a founder himself. He's been through Y Combinator. He's built a lot and worked with a lot of the leading fintechs in Nigeria. So he was one of the co-founders of Wallets.ng, the CTO there as well. And so he's just got a wealth of knowledge. Probably one of the best fintech front end folks that you'll run into anywhere.
Wow, wow. So it says here, it's going to be interesting trends in fintech and blockchain space and a walkthrough of their experiences. So this is going to be great. And I see here there's also going to be a certificate of participation awarded for attendance. What I got you here, I mean, what would you say would be, some quick tip or advice that you give aspiring entrepreneurs in the blockchain space?
Yeah. I mean, I will always go back to what are the use cases that you're chasing, and I like to see, how have you asked customers, like talk to actual users, right? Not just theory crafted this in your head, but how have you talked to customers about how you're solving a need and not just a want? Because in the beginning, you really need to be solving a need. And in blockchain specifically, right? Tell me a little bit about why blockchain technology, whether it's Stellar, hopefully it's Stellar, but whether it's Stellar or
Hopefully
something
it's
else,
Stellar.
how does that make a huge difference, right? If you didn't use blockchain, what's the difference or the delta there? And then between those two things, if you get those down, you got a great foundation to go with. And then you're going to start building on top of that, with business model, et cetera. But without those two things, you can't really start.
Good advice. Good advice. And I know you will not be on the panel, but you did agree to come back out. And let me pull this up if you haven't heard yet. He is going to be actually on Stellar Global. Here's our website, stellar/global.org. Click that button on the Discord. And he's going to be live. We're going to have Stephen Deng in the Clubhouse style chat. We're going to talk a little bit more business and allow you entrepreneurs and businesses out there to maybe ask some questions, get some insights, maybe get some more tidbits on how you can create a successful business, because I really want to give you guys resources, as I said earlier this morning, to cut your own checks. You know what I mean? Cut your own checks, be your own boss. So that is going to be next Tuesday, 12:30 p.m. Eastern. And that's going to be right there on the Discord, stellar / or hashtag global.org. And make sure to go ahead and register there early, get in there early. If you wait last minute, we do have an anti-spam mechanism. So unless we don't, spam's coming in so fast. So get in there, register, get accustomed to it. There will be a Stellar Global event stage that you guys can enter, and myself and Stephen Deng will be there again. A lot more intimate and more time for some feedback and questions. So really appreciate your commitment to doing that, Stephen. Really means a lot.
I'm so excited for it. Yeah, I'm ready to go. So happy to answer all the questions people have.
Well, Stephen, look, it's been great having you here today. It's been a great show, informative. Everyone that had a chance to listen live, make sure you retweet, you forward this. You can actually follow Stephen Deng on Twitter. Mr. Stephen Deng is his tag. Also, I think it's at DFS Labs is DFS Labs on Twitter as well. Am I correct?
It's at the DFS Lab.
Yes, at the DFS Lab on Twitter. So make sure you give them a follow. And of course, at Stellar.org is also your other tidbit. Hang on tight, Steven. I'm going to talk to you for a couple of seconds. Everybody out there, I will see you again real soon. This has been a great show. Thank you so much. Take care, everybody.
Thanks a lot. Take care.